In the last video, we introduced that there are three types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at igneous rocks. So most of Earth is made up of igneous rocks, and the entire mantle of Earth is igneous rocks. And so the mantle is simply a layer of Earth. And we'll talk more about that in later chapters. And some of the crust is also made up of igneous rocks. And again, this is also another layer of Earth. So granite is one of the most common igneous rocks. We use it a lot. It's used for countertops. It's used in buildings to build monuments and other statues. And that is what is pictured in the elephant. It's a life-size elephant, and that's made from granite. And actually up by St. Cloud, Minnesota, there's a big granite mining company. Another very common igneous rock is called pumice. It can be used to smooth skin. Sometimes when you go to get a pedicure, a pumice stone will be used to rub off the dead skin off your feet. And it's also used for making your jeans have that stone-washed look. Pumice stones get put into giant washing machines with brand new jeans, and they get tumbled around, and you get this stone-washed or faded look because the pumice actually tears apart some of the fibers in the denim. So igneous rocks are made with different size crystals. They form when magma and lava cools and then forms crystals. And this can occur deep inside Earth or at Earth's surface. And an example would be California Sierra Nevada mountain range, and it's almost entirely made up of granite, which is these mountains right here. And so when igneous rocks cool inside Earth, it creates an intrusive igneous rock. And so they cool slowly and beneath Earth's surface. This slow cooling allows time for larger crystals to form. And by large, I think we talked about in the last video, they can be seen without a microscope. Right here. And an example here would be granite. And like we've talked about earlier, this is not only the most common igneous rock, it's also the most common intrusive. So in example A up here, we have granite. And each of the different colors that we can see, so like the blacks, there's a little white right here, and then the tannish color, all of those are different crystals. And so that's what we refer to as crystals, is each of those different speckles almost. Letter B is an intrusive igneous rock called diorite. Again, you can see the different crystals, the white and the blacks. Gabbro is letter C, a little bit smaller crystals, but you can still see the different textures. And then lastly, D is called periodite. So these are all intrusive igneous rocks. The opposite of intrusive rocks are extrusive rocks. And they form on top of Earth's surface. So this means that the lava is going to cool very quickly. And so the crystals will be much smaller. So sometimes the cooling happens so quickly that no crystals actually form at all. So up here we have some lava being shot out, and it's cooling very quickly. And then these tall rock pillars in here are rhyolite rocks, and they formed this national monument due to their quick cooling. So, for example, crystals or obsidian is an extrusive rock, and it's kind of confusing because it actually looks like black glass. We talked about pumice. Pumice contains holes where gas bubbles were trapped, and it has the ability to float in water. Pumice pretty much cools instantly. As lava is shot out of a volcano. So it traps those gas bubbles. Basalt is the most common extrusive igneous rocks, and this is what makes up the ocean floor. And so we can see that here in letter C is basalt. A is a closer look at rhyolite. And in each of these, you can see that you can't really tell the different textures or the different crystals that have formed. B is a extrusive rock called andesite, and D is comotite. So, igneous rocks get grouped by their crystal size and the minerals they contain. And sometimes we also refer to their color. So we have mafic and felsic igneous rocks. Mafic rocks are low in silicon content. So remember, silicon is an element, Si. And because they don't have much silicon, they are darker in color. Felsic igneous rocks have a lot of silicon in it, and it makes them lighter in color. So there's actually more than 700 different types of igneous rocks, and they're all used for different types of things. Another example is called diorite. This is an extremely hard igneous rock, and it's commonly used for art. And it was used extensively or used a lot by ancient civilizations for like vases and other decorative work. This particular diagram or picture shows it's made out of porphyry. And this is again an igneous. It's igneous and it's extrusive. And the magma began to cool slowly. It has large crystals, but then the magma, in the middle of that cooling, the magma erupted and it cooled much quicker. So this is a kind of a strange igneous rock. So we have a quick overview of your igneous rocks, and they come from magma and lava.